Hello everyone, I'm Gio, and I've been doing a bunch of different things over the years with computers, starting from design when I was 16, then bit of front end, then installing Linux on my university lab. And more recently, I've been doing platform engineering and observability. To me, the main driver has always been having fun with computers. And especially having fun building apps. So today I want to talk a bit about how we can, with Jets, get that fun back while building apps. So let's start with the main thing we all will go through when we start building software, which is let's build an app. We have an idea. You are immediately confronted with 1,000 of tech choices, like define the data model, choose a database, you need to deploy your database. In fact, that kind of bothers me because what I want to do is actually building an app. I want to have fun. But yeah, what if you actually didn't have to think about any of that or most of that? Because if you really think about it, when you build an app and what makes your app unique, it's actually only through three of those things, which is the data your app handles, how permission or who can access the data, and what your user interface looks like. That's pretty much what people recognize in apps. And guess what? I mean, of course, Jets is a framework that promises to solve this problem. It's basically like the super base without the base part. So this is why I joined Jets actually in October. I joined because to me Jets felt like magic. Felt like I was able to build up and have fun doing that. Now I'm not gonna talk too much into that. Thomas after me is gonna be talking about his experience, and he's probably gonna be way better than me at selling Jets. But yeah, I'm gonna go through a bit about Jets and how it works and what we've been thinking lately. Now, the big question is, can Jets actually solve or fulfill this promise? The answer is kind of based on a perspective shift. If you think about traditional stacks, everything that we try to solve so far with the traditional stack is implementation of shared state. Sync engines then came later and tried to add another piece to that tech stack and made shared state more real time, lower latency, more reliable. But Jets, on the other hand, takes a more radical approach. So what if we started with shared state? What if we had primitives for data with collaboration and permissions built in? Which all of that sounds a bit abstract, so I'm gonna show it a bit in practice. So remember how we built our first apps when we were, I don't know, 14, 12, I don't know, each one started at a different age. It just felt like magic. Like you had a bunch of text, which I mean, I'm Italian, I didn't even understand what body and HTML meant. But it felt like magic because I was writing something to a file and I got an app. That was magic. After that came React or like Angular or whatever framework we had, but it's not really that far from that first magic. But you get a reactivity as a natural next step on top of UI, but you still express UI pretty much the same way you did before. You build on local state, and your code is basically the shape of your UI. As soon that you start trying to add in not local state, things can start to get a bit messier though. And this is where Jets wants to be in. It's just one extra step, pretty much like going from HTML to React. We think that Jets is the next natural step. So basically, instead of use state from React, we use code state. Which is basically just use state for collaborative state. It works exactly the same way. It's just reacting as use code state. But the only difference is that, the main difference is that it works across devices, across users, across the network. So you don't have to think about the network as well. And it has permissions built in. So you can build basically your whole app only on that premise. This is what it looks like in details. So basically you define your schema using a Zod-like API or a Zod-like schema, yeah. And then make a component which with use code state can become interactive, and you can modify data directly from there. And as I said before, you can really get far with that. Like I've seen CRUD applications really built only with these primitives. And with that, you don't really need a backend or a database anymore. But yeah, then you start building stuff. It's all fun and games. Then you need to send an emails, and then you found out that your browser cannot do it. So yeah, I mean, we just drop local first, go back to servers. One important thing here is that local first doesn't actually mean client only, and because yeah, while it's true that you can do a lot of things with local state and sync engines on your front end, server workers are basically the same thing. Server workers, like to the point of a sync engine, are just another client connected to a sync engine to them. And second, just like a user, a server worker has an account, and with that comes permission. So you can actually implement old style authoritative state on a backend pretty much the same way you used to. And the way this looks is instead of use code state in React, you have two vanilla JS APIs, which is subscribe on top of which you can subscribe to state changes and react to that, like sending an emails or loading some data and do whatever you want with it. This looks like it. So basically you start a worker, you subscribe to this counter, and when the state changes, we send an email. The problem here is that the last time we said long-running server to someone, they look at us like we were living in the Stone Age. Like, I mean, no one really doesn't use that anymore. It became clear that we had to find out or to rediscover a new pattern. And the pattern is pretty much what you already expect. You just wake up a serverless function with an HTTP request. And then from then you can just load and do whatever you want with your collaborative state. So subscribing, updating, and shutting down. But this makes Jets a distributed database on serverless. And yeah, this is what it will look like. You will start a work anyway. You have an API route handler if you use Next.js or whatever other front-end framework or whatever you use. And then you will get the state and you do something with it. Now we realize that we can actually do better with it, because the problem with this way of doing it is that you still have to bootstrap your data. So you still need to have that first load from the sync server to get the data that you need to act on top of. Now, given that Jets is built with cryptography as a base, and state is independent from any central authority, it actually doesn't matter where your state comes from. So who already has all the state most of the times that your data, your backend needs to operate on it is the front end. So what if instead we just send bits of data from the front end to the worker with our request without having to sync it to ask it from our sync server? But this way we get out of the box and for free better latency. We have less round trip to our sync engines. We reduce cost because we have less data to transmit over the network. And yeah, we are working on it. So that's not out soon, but we kind of settled on an API. So you just get your request, and then we have a wrapper or an abstraction on top of that, which handles Jet's data and gives you a callback on top of which you can react and do your server-side stuff. So the thing, yeah, in your handler you basically get pre-synced data from your backend, from your front end. Sorry. So yeah, I hope that all made sense. And it's really exciting to see how people use these or new way of building software using local first. And with Jets, the very exciting thing is that there are really a lot of people building cool shit with it. A few examples we have is Invoice Radar. This is an end-to-end encrypted app using Jets to work on billing and invoice tracking. Then we have Hand, which is a local first, again, app, an AI-assisted app that makes learning a new language supposedly easier by adapting the content to your personal level. We have Learn Anything, which you may know, which is a social network to build and share knowledge and skills. And then we have Rumi, which is a Discord alternative, which I think was built in just 2 weeks, just with Jets and front end. There is no backend thing here. And yeah, please give it a try. Either go to our website, we have a bunch of examples you can check out, or just start with a simple command. And cool thing, you don't need a database, you don't need a server, you just can have fun building apps. That's it. If you're interested, let's talk after the conf. Thank you very much.